The camera sweeps over the vast plains, a tapestry of emerald and gold stretching toward an endless horizon. This is Kenya, a land where ancient rhythms dictate the pace of the earth. The silence of the savanna is absolute, broken only by the low hum of wind through tall grass. Then, the perspective shifts. The horizon line snaps into the jagged silhouette of Nairobi. Skyscrapers rise like glass monoliths, casting long, sharp shadows over the asphalt below. The transition is violent in its contrast. Thousands of people flood the streets, weaving through a gridlock of metal and exhaust. Briefcases swing in rhythm with hurried strides. Smartphones glow in the hands of commuters who do not stop to look up. The air here vibrates with the mechanical frequency of a city in constant motion. Every intersection is a collision point between the traditional pace of the plains and the relentless, ticking clock of the modern world. The scale is immense, shifting from the quiet, sweeping expanse of the wild to the dense, crowded pulse of a nation accelerating into the future. The city breathes in the exhaust of progress, while just beyond the concrete, the plains wait, unchanged by the noise. Beyond the reach of the city, the pace slows to the rhythm of the elders. Under the wide canopy of an acacia tree, they sit in a circle. Their hands trace intricate, shifting patterns in the dry earth, mapping stories that predate the concrete towers. They speak, and their voices carry the weight of generations. 55 million people define this mosaic, a collective identity woven from dozens of indigenous tongues, and the shared echoes of Swahili and English. The atmosphere shifts. A mosque's minaret rises, a sharp needle against the deepening blue of the sky. Nearby, a church steeple rings out, the iron bell vibrating through the air. The sound is met by the steady, resonant pulse of drums from a traditional gathering. These are not separate worlds, but layers of a single, shared existence. Faith thrives here, not in isolation, but in a quiet, persistent coexistence. The camera captures the movement of hands in prayer, the bowing of heads, and the rhythmic footfalls of dancers circling a central fire. Every gesture is a thread in the national fabric. The noise of the city is replaced by the harmony of these diverse beliefs, each finding its own space within the landscape. The narrative shifts from the quiet of the village to the rolling hills of the interior, where the land yields its bounty. Tea plantations stretch across the landscape like a green sea. Workers move through the rows, their hands blurring as they pluck leaves with practiced, rapid precision. Every motion is calculated, a harvest driven by the equatorial sun. Nearby, coffee beans ripen on heavy branches, waiting for the pickers. The scale of production accelerates. At the ports, massive cranes groan under the weight of steel containers, swinging them from the docks onto waiting ships. The air is thick with the scent of diesel. Below this surface activity, the industrial engine of the nation begins to roar. At Lake Magadi, the extraction of soda ash leaves the ground scarred and productive. Engineers move across a dusty, sun-baked site, their boots crunching on gravel as they check gauges on high-pressure drilling rigs. The machines hum with a deep, mechanical force that vibrates through the soles of their feet. They are probing the earth for oil and gas, chasing the potential hidden deep within the rock. The rhythm of the plantation is replaced by the relentless, percussive beat of the drill. It is a transition from the harvest of the present to the extraction of the future. The mechanical roar fades, replaced by the stillness of a cave wall. Here, ancient ochre figures stare out from the stone, silent witnesses to a history that spans millennia. These faded marks are the first chapters of a story, etched into the very foundation of the Rift Valley. The camera pulls back, moving from the dawn of humanity to the crumbling edges of a colonial-era building. Paint peels from arched windows, revealing the layers of a past that once sought to define this land. This is the physical evidence of a turbulent journey. The narrative shifts, tracing the path of trade routes that once connected these plains to the wider world, paths that became the veins of a growing resistance. The struggle for independence was not a single event, but a slow, grinding accumulation of pressure that finally fractured the old order. Every stone in these ruins holds the echo of that friction. The transition from colonial rule to sovereignty was a forge, hammering out a new identity from the heat of conflict. It It was a period of intense, focused upheaval that demanded everything from those who stood their ground. Today, those remnants serve as a testament to a resilience that was earned, not given. The nation stands on the foundation of this hard-won freedom, a history that transformed the landscape into a crucible of potential. The struggle is over, but the strength it created remains the heartbeat of the country. The sun dips below the horizon, bathing the plains in a deep, burning amber. Against this backdrop, the Kenyan flag rises, its fabric catching the final, sharp gusts of the day. The material snaps, a rhythmic, percussive sound that cuts through the cooling air. It ripples with force, a steady, defiant motion that refuses to settle as the light fades. This is the final movement of the day, a visual anchor for everything that has come before. The colors hold their intensity, even as the shadows lengthen across the earth. There is no stillness here. The wind keeps the flag in constant, vibrant flux. It is a physical manifestation of momentum, a symbol that points directly toward the coming dawn. The camera holds the frame, watching the fabric whip and dance against the darkening sky. The wind continues to pull at the edges, signaling a future that is already in motion, bright and relentless.